A lot of people don't realize that a number of countries across Europe have some really low tax rates, especially for foreigners. And Greece has their own tax loophole that allows people to pay as little as into the single digits to live there. I've told you before that if you're just looking at a country's headline tax rate, the top published tax rate, and you're saying, oh, that country doesn't work for me if I want to move and save taxes, you are missing out on some countries, because what we've seen in recent years is a couple of European countries rolling out special tax regimes for people who haven't lived there before. The idea is, we're not getting anything from you now, so if we can charge you more than the average person pays, that's a good deal for us, even if it's an extremely low tax rate for you. Greece is one of those countries, Italy is one of those countries, and of course Switzerland is best known for having a more complicated version of what's called a lump sum tax system. That's the loophole I'm going to talk to you about today. And again, you don't even necessarily have to be a foreigner, but you can't have lived in the country. So if we're talking about Greece, you should be living in Canada, living in the US, living in Australia, living somewhere else. You're the person that they're looking for. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I love the Greek government or that they're incredibly efficient or that I agree with everything that they do, but I give them credit for saying, we need to bring some money into this piece, and if you can come in and give us some flat sum, we're going to let you run your business, make your investments, and live in peace. We're going to leave you alone. We're going to take our little slice, and out you go. So this is not for someone who wants to lower their tax rate to the lowest possible amount. You're probably looking at, Panama City, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Tbilisi, Georgia, Singapore. I mean, places like that are going to be a little bit easier to navigate for taxes, and you're probably going to end up paying a little bit less. But if you're willing to pay a low six-figure sum to live in the European Union, live in the Greek islands, live somewhere beautiful, and that works for you in the time zone, the culture, all that, then this Greek tax loophole could be for you. What Greece has done is rolled out a number of tax incentives, and I'm also going to talk later about the immigration offers. They are two separate things that can be combined if you want them to be combined. On the tax side, they've got a 7% flat pension tax if you have a pension. Now, it doesn't always work out that cleanly, because if your country taxes that pension at 20, you'll generally use the treaty, you'll pay 1.7, you'll pay 120 minus 7, you'll end up paying the same thing, but it won't make it worse. And Greece probably has a lower cost of living than the US, Canada, Australia, etc. That's for pensioners. If you're running a business, if you are an investor, if you just have a lot of independent wealth, you can sign up for what's called this lump sum tax system. This is the loophole, and it's good for 15 years, where, number one, you invest €500,000 into the country. Most people will use this to buy real estate, okay? And I'll tell you why that's important in a minute and how that comes together. What Nomad Capitalist does is we help people who want to live overseas put all the pieces together in their country, the pieces together in the same country, because tax and immigration people usually don't talk together. That's what we help people do, okay? So you invest €500,000 into real estate. You can also buy stocks, you can buy bonds. You're just investing in Greece. And that then activates your ability to participate in the lump sum tax system, where you can pay €100,000 flat. Now, if you make €180,000, this is not probably a great deal, and you might just want to pay the regular rates and just be a regular taxpayer in Greece. There's other ways to do that. But let's say you live in Canada right now, and you've got a business that you're running in Canada, but really most of it doesn't have to be run in Canada. You could leave Canada, you could take some of your employees with you, maybe you keep some there, and we've got to create some kind of special company for them to work for in Canada. That's, again, what Nomad Capitalist does. But you're going to move the bulk of the operations to some tax-free country, for example. The Greek tax program is better than, let's say, the Portugal NHR program you've heard about for many entrepreneurs in this regard, where there are fewer restrictions on where your business is based and how you work in your business. Portugal's NHR is fine, but if you make €2 million a year or more, you're going to overpay. And there are more restrictions that people don't realize because they're too busy calling Portugal lawyers who are just focused on selling them Portugal rather than Nomad Capitalists, which helps you understand all your options. But let's go back to that business that you're going to move from Canada to, let's say, any tax-free country. The business itself makes €2 million a year. That's the profit. If you're in Canada or Australia or wherever else, you're going to pay a big chunk of that away in taxes, but now you're not anymore because we've successfully migrated it out. We've put that business somewhere new. Notice we did not move the business to Greece. You don't want to move your business or your company to Greece. You just want to live in Greece. And you don't even have to move there, by the way. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So you move your business overseas. The company itself pays nothing. You take some money out as the owner of the company, And depending on where you're from, that can work differently. You then go to Greece and say, hey, here's your 100,000 euros. They don't say, well, how much did you make? They don't bother you. They just say, thank you for the 100,000 euros. You can do that for the next 14 years. Okay, so now you have all that extra money saved that you used to be paying in taxes. And now you're reinvesting in your company. Next year you make 3 million euros. You still pay the 100,000 euros. So the first year you pay 5% tax. The next year you pay 3.3% tax. It's entirely up to you, basically, what your tax rate is. How much money can you make between your businesses, your investments, everything? You pay more than the average Greek person pays. You pay your 100,000 euros, you're done. You make 10 million euros a year, you just paid a 1% tax rate to live in Mykonos, Santorini. If that's the kind of place you want to live, you just got yourself a great deal. And again, you're getting more flexibility than you would in a place like Portugal. So again, we've gone through a couple of different elements so far, and it can get complicated. Again, taxes in Europe, even if it's only 1%, 2%, 5%, there's going to be a little bit more complication in setting it up, but you're going to move your business out of where it is now, or you're going to move your investments potentially into a new brokerage account. You're going to move the stuff out. You're not moving it to Greece, you're moving it somewhere else, and then you're moving to Greece, okay? And so that's what Nomad Capitalist helps people do. We have all the different lawyers and accountants from all around the world, and we speak all their languages. So you're not just coming to a guy in Greece and saying how to move to Greece, because that ignores everything else you need to do to take advantage of this 100,000 euro savings. I've seen far too many people just go to Greece or go to Italy or go to wherever and just think that's all it takes. You need the entire perspective. Now, here's what's really cool about the Greek system, is that Greece has a golden visa. You saw the Portugal golden visa is now going to be gone. Ireland's golden visa is now gone. There are fewer golden visas. I do not believe that Greece's golden visa is as likely to lead to citizenship unless you are ethnically Greek. They like to naturalize ethnic Greeks. If you have a Greek parent, grandparent, great-grandparent, you call Nomad Capitalist and we help you get citizenship by descent. You don't need to move to Greece to get it. You just qualify through your family tree. For everybody else, I would not view Greece as my second citizenship. Get second citizenship somewhere else if you want it. Go to the Caribbean, get some other program. Greece is less likely to naturalize you, in my opinion. But you can get the golden visa to live there, okay? Now, so far we've talked about the tax incentives. You obviously have to live there to be required to pay tax and to have the tax. So you've got tax and you've got immigration. They are separate things. But you can go and get a golden visa. And here's what's cool about it. 500,000 euros is the new amount that you need to invest in Athens, Mykonos, Santorini, and parts of Thessaloniki. The rest of the country, it's still 250,000 euros, and that gets you a golden visa. The 500,000 euro amount is the same amount you need to qualify for the lump sum tax deal. So they're separate. You don't have to do them together, but they support each other. And that's what Nomad Capitalist helps people figure out. How do we do things that support each other? So I'm going to go and I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't want to move to Greece, but I realize that my country is getting worse. The taxes are going up. I'd like to pay 5% tax and live on the Greek islands. That sounds fantastic. My wife is on board. Maybe we'll do that in 2 years. But right now, you can go and get the golden visa with your 250 to 500,000 euro investment in real estate, depending on where it is. You could also instead choose a 250,000 euro investment in tourist business. Probably don't want that. You can also invest 400,000 euros in an alternative capital fund, in government bonds, in stocks or bonds that basically you would add value to, in mutual funds. Or you can invest 800,000 euros in just any stocks or bonds in Greece. So you get your choice of one of the above. Could be real estate, some capital investment. If you make that investment, you will get a Greek golden visa. You now do not have to move to Greece, but you have the option to. You can live there as long as you want. You can go for 1 month in the summer. You're no longer a tourist anywhere in the Schengen area of Europe. You're now a resident, and you have the right to live in Greece. But you do not have to move. If you would like to move immediately and start taking advantage of the tax benefits, you can move immediately. If you want to wait 2 years, you wait 2 years, and then when you come, then we take advantage of the tax benefits. If you don't live in Greece, or if you just come for a month, you're not going to be paying taxes there, 99.9% of cases, right? So you don't have to pay the tax, but you can keep the residence option in your back pocket, have that higher level status in Europe, and then know that the tax option is there for you in the future. Or you can move right away and start taking advantage of the 100,000 euros. And so that's what Nomad Capitalist helps people do, is how do all the puzzle pieces fit together to where I have total optionality, and I can come in and out as I want, but I get the tax savings. I can save millions of euros over time. That's the Greek tax loophole. And it's a perfect example of how tax and immigration options in one country don't have to work together, but if you work with someone who knows how to make them work together, they can save you a lot of money without requiring you to change your lifestyle quite yet. So you're getting flexibility and you're getting savings, and of course you're also getting other benefits. So Nomad Capitalist is going to tell you, you probably don't want to bank in Greece beyond what you're required to do. You're not moving your company to Greece. These are all the things you can do, but hey, 5% tax living in the Greek islands doesn't sound too bad.